What up? It's Casper. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie A Goofy Movie. The movie A Goofy Movie is a 1995 movie. It's rated G and it's an hour and 18 minutes. Directed by Kevin Lima. Just knowing that the OG voice actor of Goofy is in this movie just felt like needed to say that, so much appreciating knowing that. I mean, this movie is a 1995 movie, and my childhood watch during this movie was one of those watches where I'm like, yo, this movie is really cool. All the characters are awesome, and I'm really enjoying the events that I'm looking at. Crazy thing about it, during my childhood, I didn't really watch it as much, but for the adult rewatch, a lot of different things I'm getting out of this movie. I'm seeing more of like the lessons the movie has, more of the relationships that you're seeing with other characters, a lot of the stuff that probably you didn't catch watching it as a child. Really appreciated that era feel. Even the poster with the letters and the way it looks, you can tell it's from that era. The way people were dressed, characters were acting in this movie, you can see that it's from that time. The cars, the way the houses look, you can really see it was from that era, and it still was holding up with this adult rewatch, so really enjoyed that. This movie is very timeless, so even with the characters, rewatching it, it's like that's why I enjoyed watching this movie as a child. It was just so cool with seeing how the characters are. Max is just an awesome character. Goofy's just goofy. Everything he does in here, from the facial mannerisms to him being super loud, is just very funny and enjoyable to watch, hear. And even with Roxanne, I thought Roxanne's character was a character that even for the females could relate to. Like, she's adorable. She has her little cute side in the movie. You can see how nervous and shy she is at times with her relationship with Max, and you can see the puppy love with Max and Roxanne, how they both handle their relationship with each other. Also, when we bring up hand-drawn animation from like Disney, I feel like this movie doesn't get brought up as much. I feel like this is just a cool watch for a lot of people, and they just let it be. Over the last couple years, I'm starting to see more people express and show how much of a dope movie this is. I'm starting to see more people dressed as Max and Roxanne for Halloween, and you can see like a few know about this movie. For those who never seen this movie before, the movie is about Max Goof. The last couple of days till summer break in high school, he has a crush on Roxanne. He's doing whatever he can to impress her, get her attention. Max and his boys end up doing and plan out some stuff for a talent show to get her attention. During this process of trying to get her attention, they get in some sort of trouble. The principal ends up calling Max's dad, which is Goofy, and in the movie it's very funny how over dramatic the principal is. Long story short, Goofy is very over dramatic on receiving that message as well. He doesn't want Max to live a life on the streets. He doesn't want Max to be in trouble anymore, so Goofy decides to take his son Max on a road trip. Max doesn't want to go. Max ends up lying and saying some things to Roxanne that his dad and him are going to LA to meet up with a pop star in their world named Powerline. The fact that Max told Roxanne that he's going to meet up with one of the most famous pop stars in their world, so that adds to the adventure. Not only that, during this road trip, Goofy just wants to bond with his son, get closer with him, and basically get him out of trouble. But during this adventure slash road trip, Max is just thinking about Roxanne. You see the relationship between him and his dad and how they're handling it. But during Goofy trying to take his son on this road trip, seeing the relationship, how Max is dealing with his friends, trying to get with Roxanne, get her attention. Besides that being the point of the movie, there's a lot of small events throughout that process that's just crazy, enjoyable, funny. So that's what the movie's about. Like I mentioned before as well, this is an underrated movie for me on a sense of like Disney's top animated movies, top 5. I really like the fact that this movie, while you're being brought along on this adventure with, you know, Goofy and his son Max, you got a lot of other characters who show you different sides of relationships, how characters deal with them. The main focus that I really liked is seeing the relationship between Max and his dad, and I really like seeing the other relationship with Max and Roxanne. Those are two scenarios on you just see maturity level. You see how even Goofy as the dad is, how he handles his situation as a father. A lot of values and lessons that you can point out from those two, Goofy and Max and Roxanne, that you see how Max is trying to just be very cool. He's trying to be slick. He's trying to really be a superstar. He's a daydreamer, and he's doing anything he can to impress Roxanne. Really cool that even his home homies are supportive of him. They're just as funny and they fit the whole vibe. Definition of puppy love is definitely with Max and Roxanne. That relationship is just a really cool vibe throughout the movie. Puts you in scenarios where you're like, yo, I could see myself in that when I was a kid. Or there's probably a kid right now that you probably know going through what Max is dealing with right now, trying to set up the date for next Friday or Saturday to meet up with the girl he's been talking to at school. You got the homies linking up and saying, are you gonna meet up with her this weekend? Moments in here where like it's adorable, it's funny, and you can see how complicated they make the scenario just to make the relationship with the female they like happen. You see all the high moments, cool moments with Max, but then you see all the embarrassing moments, the sad moments, the moments where he's a little heated and doesn't know how to control it or handle it. The main focus with Max's character is definitely being cool, so that's why I really enjoyed it. Swagger in this movie just holds up throughout the whole movie, even in the crazy scenarios in here. The journey with Goofy, his dad, seeing that perspective, you know, if you really deep dive into this movie, it can kind of tear you up a little bit because there's moments between them where you're like, yo, that moment kind of hit. You appreciate the father-son relationship in this movie. Really worth watching that. Usually in Disney type of movies, you do see like an evil character or like a bad villain, but this one didn't really have that. I really wish the movie was a little bit longer, but for it being the time, I thought it was like perfect. All the voice actors are on point. Really appreciated what they did. It is a kids movie, but adults could watch it as well. It's designed for both kids and adults with the lines, scenarios they get put in, the funny moments. All the voice actors for the other characters are just as funny as well. Some can probably be a little bit annoying, but it fits the whole vibe. It fits that whole world. So the soundtrack in here, I feel like when Disney was doing this soundtrack, they didn't think how big this soundtrack was gonna be. Like, I love the soundtrack, love the vibe. It's a classic soundtrack. Every time you hear it, you're like bobbing your head. You're like, let's go. It's that type of movie where you're like, that's a banger. Definitely a classic. I gotta put that on my playlist. Clever on transitioning from environments, so the movie moves around even with the road trip. This movie just all around just brings you in. Has a good message. The kids in here are all cool, all different personalities, but all cool. My favorite moment in the movie will be when Max and Goofy are in the car and they just got in an argument. It's very hostile in the car, but out of nowhere in the background you see Bigfoot doing his thing in the background, dancing to music. The most adventurous moment that I thought, I was like, yo, that's crazy. They go and meet with Powerline, and there's a dude who literally crashes into the big main screen. Did we just see a death on the screen right now in this Disney movie? Pretty hilarious. And I was like, yo, did anyone else catch that? Movie just brings me nothing but good memories, good vibes, good feel. For those who haven't watched it, this is a movie that you have to at least watch twice. For my watching the movie a Goofy movie out of 10, I'm gonna have to give the movie a 10 out of 10. That's my movie review for the movie A Goofy Movie. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.